So the Republican nominee is a convicted felon, which means Republicans are now fully endorsing the idea of allowing convicted felons to vote and obviously to become president after Ron DeSantis made it extremely difficult for felons to vote just last year. It's an incredible thing, huh?
Isn't it so weird how they do completely different things for themselves than they do for everybody else? It's almost like they belong to this small sort of fascist cabal that thinks that they're superior to everybody else. And none of the rules that apply to the rest of us apply to them. For example, if you're Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert or Matt Gaetz or whatever, or whether it's alleged sex trafficking or stepping out on the husband or the wife or all that kind of stuff, you can totally do all of that. But then they're the party of family values and we're the freaks. I mean,
here we are in Pride Month. They continue to scream, hey, yeah, it's the drag shows. It's the drag queens and the trans people who are...
So in all these states, like Tennessee, they're the ones who've been passing these like child marriage laws where kids, they can't, so girls can get married because they want to get them while they're still pure before, impure Jews like me or Italians like you get to them. They want to make sure the wasps of the South, the Southern Baptists, I mean, seriously, like they're passing laws to make it give them the ability with young girls. Their longest serving Speaker of the House of Representatives, Denny Hastert, who basically assaulted a 15-year-old. Mm-hmm. There's people who are being assaulted in their teens at Ohio State. Well, Jim Jordan was like, I mean, it goes on and on, either the enabling or the not caring or the actual grooming themselves. It's always, I mean, I can think of 2 or 3 exceptions, but it's like virtually always Republicans. Mm-hmm. It's sick, and it's part, again, of like, if people don't think of that, uber masculine, masculine is not even the right word. It's like toxic masculine, but like that that bullying fascist mindset of everything belongs to us. We control everything, and that includes you when you're 13.
But I feel like we're in the post-hypocrisy era where that just doesn't matter anymore. Like, for example, going back to the idea of convicted felons voting in elections. Back in April, 17% of Republicans supported that idea, allowing convicted felons to vote in federal elections. It's 58% of Republicans now, after Donald Trump was convicted last week. That is, I mean, the height of hypocrisy. It's like, well, I mean, if it's anyone else, no. But if it's this guy, yes, absolutely, bring in all the convicted felons. Let them vote. It doesn't matter.
No, I mean, look, that's on obviously a more... that's on like a pretty serious issue, but it really doesn't matter what the issue is, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the majority of Republicans were in favor of mail-in voting. And then Trump started attacking it. Unsafe, can't do it, blah, blah, blah. And now they're not. Like, it's just, they can switch, like, I mean, remember, there was a point in time where it wasn't even a question of whether you were pro-NATO and pro-Ukraine. Yeah. Now he hasn't convinced, I think, even a majority of his party, but there is a sizable minority that are rooting for Russia, that it's like the literal embodiment of rooting for Darth Vader or the Romulans. To bring it back to where you and it's rooting for Thanos, okay? It's like, it's like, I'm just going to keep going with all of them. It's rooting for Darkseid. Tell me when you want me to stop the geeking out.
Yeah, I mean, if it's ruling for Thanos, then they're trying to legalize the snap. I could go down a whole nerd rabbit hole with these metaphors, so be careful.
Listen, at this point with the snap, if like we were able to choose who got snapped to a certain degree, I can think of whole swaths of this country that if they were snapped away, we'd be like a paradise. We'd be like Canada, maybe even better.
Yeah, well, you know what? Actually, Donald Trump snapped away 400,000 Americans in his last year in office. One of the many things that's been memory hold in this country, which never stops confounding me, Cliff. The short-term amnesia, the ridiculous forgetfulness of so many voters. It just doesn't matter what happened in the past. We've forgotten about that. We moved on. But now, it's something else. It's something else frivolous. It just drives me nuts.
Well, me too. Obviously, the problem is, it's multifaceted, but I mean, there's just too much information overload in general for people. Then you add in Donald Trump sort of defining deviancy down.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point of where he does things that would have, 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, sent us into shock.